Artificial intelligence is taking over the world. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that if you are doing anything online or even watching the news, you're hearing all about artificial intelligence, AI, chat GPT, all these different businesses. And today I really want to talk to you about what is happening, what I think is happening with AI, and then what you should be doing and how to prepare for it. And is it actually going to put people out of business, or are people actually going to lose their jobs? Welcome back to another episode of the Kenya Kelly podcast. I am excited to be here with you today, talking about all things AI. I will tell you in advance, I am in a different space today. I'm moving from my current apartment in San Diego to a different apartment. And so my office is painted, so it's like a white background and it's not pretty. And so I'm down in one of the community rooms, which has an echo. So if you hear an echo, that's why. Or if you're watching this on YouTube and you're seeing an entirely different background, it's because I'm in one of the community rooms. And people are like, could they continue to come into the room, like coming and going? So if you hear any kind of weird sounds, that's what that is. But anyway, listen, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to like work with what you got, right? And so I'm like, I pay to live here. So I'm like, we're going to use this today. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about AI. So one of the things that is happening is that technology is advancing, right? And because technology is advancing and it's being programmed and created to do some different things, you know, people are really nervous and concerned about how AI may be replacing people's jobs. You know, I remember when Chat GPT first came out and we all started really hearing about it, all of the different content writers were very concerned about losing their jobs as writers and editors because of this software that could write all of these things for you. And so I wanted to have a little conversation today talking about, is AI going to replace jobs and all the different things? Okay, so here are my honest thoughts. I feel like yes, and okay. I feel like yes, and I feel like that when you have a technology that comes out and it's able to do something that a human can do and will cost a business less money for the technology to do it, from a business standpoint, it is very smart to let the technology do the thing that the person was doing. Like, let me explain before you get upset. Okay, you are a business owner, or you're going to have a business, okay? And let's just say that you have this person who edits all your videos, okay? They put like captions on your videos, all right? And you're paying this person $25 an hour to do this, right? And here's the X amount of dollars that it costs you per month. Then a software develops, and the same thing that that person could do in 8 hours a day, if you upload your videos, it does it in an hour or faster. And there's a little bit of tweaks have to happen, but it does it a lot faster, does it a lot cheaper, or whatever. As a business owner, it is your responsibility to take a look and go, oh man, that's saving us this amount of money, because your company, you don't want to spend all your money on things, right? It's just not what we want to do as business owners, okay? So when it comes to AI, you know, what is happening is that technology is starting to be able to do some things that, you know, that humans, that is starting to be able to do the things that some humans can do faster, cheaper, and sometimes for free. So you, as the business owner, it is your job to make as much money as you can in your company and save as much money in your company, right? So the downside of things for the employee is that here's this technology that has potential to put them out of a job. But for you, it's helping you to save money, especially because we're dealing with whatever we're dealing with here in the economy in the US right now. Everybody's considering certain things, right? So my answer to, do I think that AI is going to cost a lot of people their jobs? Yes. I do feel like AI is going to cost a lot of people their jobs, right? Because even myself, you know, when I have been looking at the different things that people on my team do, I'm like, I mean, I'm saving so much time, energy, and money using certain services to do certain things, right? Like, for example, I write my show notes for this podcast, right? But I oftentimes find myself not writing detailed show notes. And so I learned about this software through the system that I use, Buzzsprout, that I can upload this video or the audio to Buzzsprout, and then the AI can come up with potential show notes. Now, listen, this is me talking. Like, this is not a robot. This is not AI. This is me talking. But when I finish this, instead of me having to come up with like SEO keyword friendly title and show notes, the AI is assisting me with that. And it's like, it's cutting my time in like by 75%. And if I was paying somebody to create that, then I would be saving so much money. Right now, this is me as a business. Don't be offended by me saying this. I'm just saying, as a business, I'm like, yeah, wow, it's really helping me. Okay. Now, when it comes to, as an employee, that's a very scary time to think about, like, my job could be on the line because of artificial intelligence. Okay. And I mean, it's just scary. It's just scary to think that, like, I don't, I don't want to be pulled over by a cop that's a robot. I mean, because I don't want it to be programmed and then whatever, But when I go to the grocery store and I see these long lines and I know there's self-checkout over there, which is faster, I'm like, I'm going to self-checkout because it's faster, right? Does that make sense? It's kind of like, if I'm able to like plug myself and go and not have to stand and, you know what I mean? But do I think that it is going to fully replace people? Absolutely not. Because technology is technology. It still has to be programmed by somebody. Even when I use AI to help me with my show notes for the podcast, I still have to read it. I still have to edit it. I still have to do different things with it, And so if I had a team member and their sole job was handling my podcast, it would just help them do what they do faster, right? So let's just say I had a contractor who was handling my podcast and they can only currently handle 10 people, right? Because they're writing everything and all that. Well, if they start using AI, then guess what? They probably will be able to take on 20 people because they're not having to do as much, right? They're not just going to like, I don't recommend just like me plugging in the audio for this podcast and saying, okay, it's done. AI did it. No way. Right. I still go through it, read it, revise it, and tweak and all the different things I wanted to say. And so the person that's managing podcasts, they have this opportunity where they can handle more people, right? A person that does video editing, like AI can only do so much. AI cannot, like, how do I say this? So when I let AI give me my captions and I say my name, Kenya, it's going to type Kenya. It's not going to type my real name, Keenya. So someone still has to go in and edit and revise. Somebody still has to go in and do all that stuff. You know what I mean? And I still trust a human over technology any day, right? But there is going to be a squeeze, right? There is going to be a squeeze of people, of technology pushing out like some, right? But there's still going to be a need for people. Like, for example, you've got before like the computer situation and like Grammarly and like the way people type in like Google and all that type of stuff came out, secretaries were needed to do all of this stuff, right? And then there's the internet and all the different technology that came with the internet. And then secretaries no longer needed to do all of these things because a lot of it was happening on the computer. The people that I feel like are going to have the biggest problem is going to be those that are doing things that have worked 20 years ago. Like they're still doing old ways, old things, right? And they're not pressing forward with technology, right? So like those of us that are building these online marketing businesses or online businesses, those of us that are embracing technology, that are embracing AI are the ones that are going to be the furthest ahead. It reminds me of 2020 when God told me to get onto TikTok. And I'm telling everybody, get on TikTok, because God's telling me to get on TikTok. And people weren't listening. Fast forward 3 years later, there's some people that are still not using short video, and they're watching their business have some major challenges because they haven't shifted. They're only doing long form content. Long form is great, but they're not doing any short form content. They're not moving with the time. And so the business owners that are not embracing technology and not embracing artificial intelligence are going to find themselves behind. The employees that are not embracing technology and being the solution with technology are going to have themselves a problem in the future because they're not embracing what's happening. They are just like hoping and praying and wishing that everything is going to be okay. But anytime there's innovation, there's expansion. And so there's going to be a need for the technology, but the need for people. And if you have a job and you feel like your job has potential to be at risk because of AI, then I encourage you to learn AI, learn what you do from an AI standpoint. Okay. Learn the good and the not so good, and be the solution in your company when that time comes. Cause it's a given. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to happen. Like I'm sitting here right now in my community space, talking into a microphone with the computer recording me. Everything's like, online. But I guarantee you that back in the day, that if somebody had a podcast and you had to plug it up to this and you had to have this camera, like all this stuff. Now we don't have any of that. I brought my iMac down from my apartment, got my microphone right here, my lights on the other side of the screen, and I'm filming. People are watching me all around. Like, they're like, what's going on in there? Everybody's watching. And I'm able to just my setup took me 5 minutes or less because of technology, right? But there is still a human need is still needed. Someone still has to touch all this different stuff to make you be able to hear or watch this podcast on YouTube. Okay. So again, if you're concerned about technology or AI removing your job or for other people, embrace technology, embrace AI. Don't fight it. Yes, there are negative things about AI, but don't focus on the negative. Go and embrace it, learn it, which is what I'm doing. I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I'm like, I am going to learn this because this is going to be so good for me, good for my business, good for my audience, you who are watching and listening. And it's going to be great for you if you choose to embrace it. Okay. Now, if you got questions about anything AI, please feel free to let me know. Like, you can message me on Instagram. I would love to have conversations with you. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do me a favor and tell somebody about it and write a review.